Hey, thanks for purchasing the Facebook Local Rater system. In this video series, we're going to go through the various things that are included, and I'll tell you how to get started and how to get your clients all set up on Facebook Local. Okay, so the things we need to do to get started. First, you got to set some time aside each day. Usually an hour a day, nothing too big. You know, small changes over time equals big results. Make sure you study all the materials in this package. Inside of this package is the guide. Make sure you read that guide cover to cover. Next, you want to create your accounts. Now, these are your Facebook account, your SEO reseller account, and then you also want to create some tests. So that means, create your SEO reseller account, try out the features inside of that, and I'll show you, I'll give you a little tour a little bit later. Create your Facebook account, create a mock-up fan page or business listing. And on that, or in that regard, make sure when you create your Facebook page that is a local business, something that you can select a map, because Facebook Local is only available to businesses who are local. So make sure you create a Facebook business page, a local business page, because you want to have the map and be able to set an address, because that's what the place tips are triggered on. So we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later. This is a local opportunity, a massive opportunity for you. These social media marketing services continue to explode. Businesses are still buying them, they still need them, and it's an effective means of reaching an audience. But however, they are underutilized. Some estimates are 7 out of 10 businesses are not using it or are using it incorrectly. So this is an opportunity, an untapped market that you can break into very easily. It's also a very fresh sales pitch. Not many people are out there pushing this. They usually sell it as part of a marketing package, and they usually lead with something else like SEO or websites. Those pitches are tired. Everybody's hearing those pitches. But if you come at them with something different, then you'll at least get their ear, and then you can make a logical case for them using this service. There is a renewed interest in using social media strategies, like I alluded to before. So using this as a sales pitch to get not only your foot in the door, but also say, hey, all these other methods are not working. Let's try this method. So now these businesses have a very unique problem. The organic results in Facebook, it's getting a little tight. There is a lot of competition out there, and a lot of people just are frankly doing it incorrectly. And in terms of ads, there's a lot of ads out there, and people are getting blind to the ads that are in the right sidebar. So we need ads to appear somewhere else because people are just gone advertising deaf to them. Another thing is that if a business does not have a claimed page, a rogue page can show up. So these are pages that just somebody creates for a business. It's not the business owner, and it could just get either really silly or really vicious. And when it's the latter, I mean, even if it's vicious, even if it's silly, the business doesn't really have a control over the message, and they're just losing out completely on the opportunity that Facebook presents to local businesses. Now, just being there, just having a presence on Facebook is not enough, and that's what a lot of businesses do. They create a simple page, they put a cover image on there, and they maybe make a post or two 6 months ago, and they just leave it there. That's not doing it. That's not creating the opportunity. Now, let me back up for a second. These rogue pages, one of the reasons why rogue pages do pop up is because if a business does not have a claimed page and somebody checks into that business, Facebook will create a page just to hold that check-in. So now that's a rogue page, and people are going to be able to comment, post on that page, and the business has no control, no say over anything that goes on there. Lastly, you have a misappropriation of ad budgets. People or businesses are spending money on ads that aren't really targeting the local space. It's not targeting the customers that are inside of their reach. So you might have a restaurant targeting customers that are just a few towns or cities over, and that's just a waste of money. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, about Facebook offers and ads, a little bit later. The solution that you will present to them is utilizing the local marketing components of Facebook. So this includes getting place tips in the news feed. This also is a mechanism for recommendations. So when a person has a page, when they can check in, it actually forms a nice recommendation system for them. Now, we use check-ins as a strategy. We want people to check into the business. That gives them a notification on the news feed saying, hey, so-and-so checked in here. It also serves as a recommendation when people are using the app. Hey, your friend went here. So why do this? Why bother with the Facebook local? Well, you can demand an incredible fee for doing this work. Now, I preface that by saying, some businesses can't afford a $5,000 setup fee or a $3,000 a month monthly recurring fee to buy ads, to do offers, to buy content. But a lot of businesses can. And if you say to yourself, oh, businesses will never pay for that, well, you're flat out wrong. Businesses pay this and more to generate leads on social media and Facebook specifically. Now, for this fee, you can do the setup, handle all the design, and produce content for them. Also, you could buy advertising, and that's where a good portion of your fee can go towards. So if you have, $1,000 a month budget, and you're charging $3,000 a month, then it's a $2,000 profit for you. This is an arbitrage play. The service that you can use is a reseller called SEO Reseller, and some of you might have heard of it. For $400, you can handle all the Facebook local items. So if you think about this, on top of the ad budget, say you spend $1,000 a month, you got a $400 hard cost with SEO Reseller, you're looking at a good chunk of change for that $3,000 a month. Very nice profit. You can also hire outsourcers on Fiverr and Upwork to do other things for you, such as write Snap content, such as handle all the responses for the different content and different postings that you get on the page. There's sales copy you could do. There's ad design. There's the timeline photos. There's all the graphic design and whatnot that you can just push off to other outsourcers. At the end of the day, it just means that you're going to become a project manager. At the end of the day, it just means you're going to become a project manager. You're just going to get all the little wheels and gears turning in favor of your client, just making sure everything is working and up to spec and fits the requirements that the client requests. Now, it's important that you follow this training. So inside of the package, I've included the sales material that you can use. I've given you upsell materials, things that you can sell to a couple of different niches. Make sure you read the training guide that I put together for you. You must read that guide. The majority of the lessons are presented inside of that guide. And then lastly, you must apply what you learn. If you don't put into action the things that I teach you, you're not going to get anywhere. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about Facebook Local. There are a few components, and the first one is the places. This is a directory of local places. They show up on the map or in search when someone's on the app and they're looking for it. The places also show up when there's recommendations from friends. So if somebody recommends something to a friend, it could pop up in a search or it could pop up in a news feed. This audience is very social proof driven. So, they're a hungry, accessible, self-perpetuating audience that promotes businesses to each other. So having a presence, having a Facebook page, and inside of the guide, I talk about having the optimized page and all the other components that you need in order to access this audience. Places Tips is a notification that shows up inside of the Facebook app. Now these places, they are driven by friends, but they are also rated by engagement. So the more a page is engaged, the more reviews, the more posts, the more likes, the more check-ins, the higher ranked these places and place cards will appear on the app. Just so you know, see where it says welcome to the bakery, that is that notification message, and inside the guide I talk about that, and then I'll show you a demo in just a minute. The place tips themselves are triggered by Wi-Fi when the app recognizes that the phone has entered within range of a defined Wi-Fi name, right? It's called SSID broadcast, or the Wi-Fi name of that business. The app will trigger the places, and as long as the place tips are configured on the page, on the business's page, they will be displayed to that user. And you can use that, obviously, or the business can use it to great advantage, because you can offer specials, promotions, coupons. You can ask them to check in. It's a great way to connect with the business or connect with the customer as they are entering or as they're in the store. There's another piece of technology that is the Bluetooth beacon, the Facebook Bluetooth beacon. Now, it's not available in all areas. There is a place you can go to request the beacon. I put that inside of the guide, so be sure to read that section. Now, check-ins are very important in this system. The user checks into a business in place when they arrive. It'll show their friends that, hey, that's where I am. This will show inside of any nearby places and inside of the feed, and is basically a soft endorsement of that business for their friends. This is a massive sharing tool. This is something that you can use to really sell a business on expanding their reach and getting more customers, saying, hey, how would you like to be configured to have your customers recommend your business to all their friends? Another component are Facebook offers. Now, these drive engagement. These are special offers just for the list. You can use these to do a number of things. So you create special offers just for that special audience. And then you can have that displayed inside of the newsfeed. In fact, that's where it is displayed. Now, that's different from regular Facebook ads, which show up on the right-hand side, or if you want to buy an ad for the newsfeed. But offers are different. They're built just for this particular audience. Now, they're great for building email lists, because you have an offer. Someone will say, hey, I want that offer. They'll click to get it. They'll be taken to a landing page. You can ask for their email address, and then you can obviously run email sequences, autoresponder sequences to them, make offers to them. And, you know, we all know the power of email marketing. I built an incredible business on it, and some of you might have lists of your own. So the importance of offers and building a list as a result of those offers cannot be overstated. There is a very strong content component to this, because content is still king. We need to have content for engagement and for bringing customers closer to that business. So these include specials, promotions, any type of public relations, or as I termed optics here, you know, that type of content, stuff that you outsource, you have writers produce, is what's going to cause people to engage with that business. So you'll get more check-ins, you'll get more reviews, more happy messaging, and more recommendations and referrals. This messaging, this content, has to be tailored for the specific audience of the business. There is no cookie-cutter solution for it. I can't give you a giant book of content for every business, because I would be here writing it for a few thousand years. And this is why it's important that you get an outsourcer to do this, because maybe you're not into writing. Maybe you don't like writing content. Maybe you sit down and look and stare at the Facebook screen and say, oh, crap, I don't know what to write. Well, that's why we go to a company like SEO Reseller to produce that content for us. Because what they'll do, given their experience, write quality, shareable content for that business, for that specific niche and audience. And they'll also include a call to action in that. So that content will drive people to do and claim promotions or offers, to check in, to recommend, to like, to share. That's why content is king. Content will be the biggest driver of this type of promotion. Facebook Places, your listing, your fan page, your place tips, those are tools, but the driver is the content. Great benefits here. Great benefits, and these are the benefits that you are going to transmit to the business owner, particularly in the sales pitch, so pay special attention. These are new ways of getting repeat customers and selling the business's products and services to family and friends. So it's not just about, hey, tell a friend. It's everyone's using Facebook in the family to communicate. If you check in somewhere, other family members, other friends are going to see that. And the result of which is an expanded reach, reaching other people inside of that family, inside of that circle of friends, and essentially reaching other little markets. It's a fantastic way to get new customers, and the end result is generating greater revenue for the business. Now, there are some requirements. The business owner needs to have a strong listing. So they need to have a fan page that's enabled for check-ins and local map listings. You need to have an optimized listing. So what that means, and I explain ad nauseum inside of the guide, is the business has pictures. It has like a timeline cover, profile picture, the address is set, the business hours are set, the contact information is set and accurate. And of course that there's content on the page and it's being shared and is being promoted. So that's more or less a complete profile. And, make sure that there are, in fact, regular updates. And lastly, more importantly, you must have a proper category defined for that business listing. If the business is miscategorized, then, your place tips may be served to an audience that is just not interested in serving or being served by that business. So you end up wasting time, money, all your efforts. So make sure that a business is properly categorized. Now, moving into engagement, you want to incentivize that engagement. So offer discounts and promotions for customers checking in. Provide point of sale actions. What I mean by that is have a flyer or poster or some kind of messaging at the cash register, let's say, saying, hey, check in for a discount. Have online and offline components. So let's say the customer or the business already has an email list. Well, add that check in to this business for 10% off or free beverage. Make it local. In fact, keep it local. Because if it's not local and it's associated with other people outside of the service area for that business, then no one's who's going to take advantage of it because they don't go to that business. It's outside of their sphere. So make sure you stick to where the business does the majority or serves the majority of their customers. The call to actions you should be using are asking for ratings, asking for check-ins, asking for friend recommendations, ask for feedback. Feedback is a great way to get engagement. So you can offer, hey, check in for this discount and tell us what you think about this. A couple examples I can provide for you. And if you look inside of the package, there are a couple of flyers that allude to this. But you have a coffee shop can offer a free upsize. So a person, say, orders a small or a medium. If they check in on Facebook, they can get a large for free. A nightclub might offer free drinks. Check in now that you arrived tonight. Ladies get 2 free drinks. Restaurants can offer free food like free appetizers, free mozzarella sticks, or, refills on soda or whatnot. Any retail businesses, clothing stores, gift shops, they can offer coupons and also participation in events. Generally, any retail business can use contests and showcases and sweepstakes as kind of a carrot to dangle in exchange for participation and engagement check-ins with the business's Facebook page. All of these are very specific to what the business offers. So it's very difficult to just kind of come up with them just, sitting here thinking about them. You actually have to have a conversation with the business owner and or really understand the niche that you're working with and understand what that business is doing. I mean, these examples right here are enough to offer some creative starting points. One really cool idea I had earlier was to request a check-in for, let's say, a restaurant. And inside of that restaurant, there'll be a fish bowl. And inside of that restaurant will be a fish bowl. And in that fish bowl are little strips of pieces of paper with, some kind of reward on them. So let's say you put 100 little strips of pieces of paper and free appetizer, free drink. Maybe there's out of the 500 or 100 strips of paper in there, one of them has like a free steak dinner. And if the person checks in, they're entered or allowed to put their hand in the fishbowl and pull out one of these little rewards. It's a fun little thing that a lot of restaurants will enjoy, and you can use that in almost any retail environment. A couple of the other tools you want to use with a system like this is, as I say, build an email list. Start building a valuable asset for that business. Now, you could do this, with GetResponse or with Aweber or any other email autoresponder that has list building tools. So what that allows you to do is build a couple of hundred, a couple thousand customer lists. Now, you can use that list as kind of maybe leverage for other clients, or you could just build that list as a add-on for a specific business. Now, you hold the list, or if you want, they hold the list, and they pay more. Kind of up to you. As far as, who promotes to the list and how the list gets done, well, that's also up to you. You could find copywriters who write just emails and have them do that for you, or you can learn how to do it and do it yourself, which, mind you, is a lot of fun. Using promotions and boosting your ads and your offers. Like when you make an offer, a Facebook offer, for Facebook Local, for Place Tips, you can boost that offer. So you could throw money at it, and that will boost the offer to show up in news feeds of friends and family. And of course, in a local area. And that's how you can get customers out of this, this local audience on Facebook. You can also have the business join local groups, being members of that group, and they don't even really have to be active. I mean, sure, you can jump in there. You could say, hey, that's great. Maybe congratulate another business on opening or having a new Facebook page, just making a couple of posts. But just being connected to these local groups has a relationship with Facebook Local. Now, you do want to compel reviews. You want people to respond and engage. So when you do post content where you on local groups, you can always ask for feedback. Hey, what do you guys think of this? And that's going to compel a review. Now, what I want to do next is I want to walk you through a couple of these components. And the first one is setting up Place Tips. So let me bring in my little page here. Hotgates Tactical. So set this up as a local agency. So it's a local business, and I defined an address, and I'll show you that in a second. So what we want to do here to enable Place Tips on any local page is to go over to Settings, and then scroll down to Place Tips, and then what you'll have here is the Wi-Fi network and then the welcome note. So the Wi-Fi network, this is the name of the business's Wi-Fi network. Now, if you open up your mobile phone or your smartphone and you scan, the business name will be the one that is the strongest signal. Of course, you can always just ask the business owner, hey, what is your wireless network name? I need it for the Facebook configuration. Once you know that name, put it in there. So we can use that other one. We can use Netgear 756 just for giggles. Now, the welcome note is that note that appears at the top of the app. You want to put something there. Typically, that message is some description about the business, but you can also use it as a marketing tool. So let's say I had a restaurant. I could say check in on Facebook for a free drink. You would want to say welcome to Luther's Diner. And then you can say check in on Facebook for a free drink. So you would just hit save, and now this is configured for places. Now, obviously, you want to have other things set up on the page. So why don't we go back? For the page itself, you want to make sure, let's see here, edit page. Actually, I'm sorry, you have to go back, and then you have to go to About, and then over to Edit Page Info. And this is where you can change or ensure that all the information for an optimized page is defined. So that is the contact information. You want to make sure that you put that information here, and you want to make sure the location is valid and present, and then ensure that this is checked. Show map and check in on page must be checked. So that will show the map on the Facebook page. It'll also define the area for the place's listing. Make sure your hours are defined. This is a demo, so I haven't defined any hours here. But, it's always open. But you would define any hours for the business and just fill in the general information for that company. This is the category that I was saying was so important. Make sure you put the category and proper category for that business here. Okay? Real simple stuff. Real simple stuff. So why don't we do this, move this out of the way, and then what I'll do next is we'll talk about setting up Facebook offers. So we're going to move this back. Let's go back here. Let's go back to the main page here. Back to the top of the page. And then you'll have your choices, your options here for different features. The one you want is create an offer. First, we want to choose where people can use the offer. So we can use it in the store, or we can do it online. What you want to do for online, let's say for list building, is that you would put in a web address. You would put the title of the offer, and then just a brief description on what the offer is about. Include a photo in there, and then maybe put in a coupon code, and the coupon code's good for tracking the results of the offer. Set any terms and conditions. There's a limit that you can put here, so you can say this offer expires on April 29th, and then on the right space will give us a preview of what the offer will look like. So let's fill this out real quick. Okay, so we filled out an offer just in the context of a boutique marketing agency, and I said, claim this offer today, receive 5 free sales letters with the purchase of 1 coaching program. But hurry, the offer ends tomorrow. So tomorrow, a little takeaway here, a little scarcity, and you'll get 5 free letters. Just grab this offer. Now, this is what it looks like on the desktop news feed, and this is what it'll look like on mobile. So if you're satisfied, go ahead, scroll down, and create the offer. Now, when you scroll down inside of the news feed for the post there, the offer is there. Now, you can boost this offer. You could buy traffic for it. In this case, I can't because I haven't published this page. Like I said, it's just a demo. But you would boost it, put a little couple dollars per day, and that will increase the reach. And obviously, the more money you put into the boost, the greater the reach. Next, I want to talk about the white label service we're going to use, and this is SEO Reseller. So let's bring this in here. SEO Reseller will do a lot of the work for us. It's actually a fantastic tool that just allows you to be a project manager and a very light salesman or woman and go out there, grab clients, and they'll do all the work for you. Now, I've introduced this in a number of my products, and it's just a fantastic resource for you, and it's perfect for this Facebook system. Now, when using Facebook, you don't really have to use the free audit tool, but this audit tool is a great way to handle a report, maybe start a conversation with an SEO client. For Facebook, we're really only interested in one thing. Now, before I show you that, SEO Reseller is free. You could sign up with an email address, create your password, and you are set up and ready to go. So really, what you have to be concerned about is the store. And one thing I should mention briefly, you have a project manager when you sign up for SEO Reseller. Don't reach out to the project manager until you have a client on the hook. Until you have a client who is just about ready to pay. If you have any questions for the project manager, then reach out to them. But, we want to be aware of everybody's time. So don't reach out to Tim or any other project manager until you have a real opportunity on the hook. Should you need to. And they have a help desk. You can contact them anytime if you have any questions about the interface or about the offering. And of course, you can always contact me. Inside of the store are all the different services that SEO Reseller offers. Now, they're going to give you wholesale pricing on these services. So you don't buy these first and then find a client. You find a client first. You get the client to pay you, and then you use a portion of those funds to buy the services that you need. The one that we want to look at is social media management. There are 2 levels. The one that you should be using is Social Media Advanced. It will cost you, it will have a fixed cost of just under $400 a month. You can sell this. Their SRP is $1,200 a month. You could sell this for much, much more. They're going to handle everything for you. Setting up unique content, managing the community, monitoring the reputation, handling ads, and other social media activities that are required on the page. They'll handle it for you. So get this. All day long, sell $3,000 clients, pay $400 to get the work done. It is a no-brainer. And then, of course, with all the other different services that they provide, anything that your client needs, paid ads, local SEO, organic, any competitive SEO, really trying to compete with, let's say, another business that's around the corner that's also has, is really spending a lot of money online, they can do it for you. Writing content, doing any kind of design work, they do it all. So you could use this as your one-stop shop. They tell you what they're going to charge you as a fixed cost and what you can request from the business owner to pay. And usually you can charge a lot more than what they are saying is the standard retail price. Great service, folks. Great service. You must use this service. You can get a lot done in very little time for very little money and keep a lot of money in your pocket rather than, pay a direct to hire or, hire a specialist on Upwork for $5,000. You can do all this very cheaply through SEO Reseller. Now, to help sell you, lastly, to help sell this service to businesses, I've included the 3 Facebook presentations, sales presentations inside of the package, and that's going to help you sell this service to business owners. So be sure you go in there, check them out, customize them, and utilize them in your sales process and outreach. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is finding clients. So we'll talk a little bit about prospecting and sales. Use the Facebook search to find pages that are not optimized. Look for rogue pages, and those will be very obvious. They'll have very little content, if any. They'll be maybe defaced and have silly things on them. Look for those pages. Those would be good leads for you. Conduct your outreach. Use the sales tools that I've included inside of this package. Now, this includes presentations and the email templates. Go out there, reach out to clients, send these to as many people as you can. Something that's a little bit underappreciated is finding new businesses that are going to be opening soon. When you're driving around your neighborhood or walking around or just searching around, you can see coming soon. Try and find those businesses. Try and find the owner, who the owner is, and how to get in touch with them and deliver a pitch to them. They're going to have money. They're going to have a need for marketing and advertising, particularly in the case of a retail business that's just opening up in an area. They know they're going to have to let everybody know that they've moved into the area and that they're opening their store. They need big reach. Now, that's why I say look for retail and consumer-facing businesses, because they're the ones who are going to be most concerned with expanding the general audience reach. So that's why you should offer this service, not exclusively, but you should offer this service to new businesses as well. One of the great ways to secure a client is to do mock-ups. So you can create some dummy pages, just like that example page I just showed you, and then print it out. Or take a screenshot or put it in your PowerPoint presentations. Provide examples for them. Inside of the package here are flyers for a couple of niches. Customize them and add the business's name to them, and maybe take a picture or two from their existing website if they have them. Make the flyer, make the materials look like something that can come from their business, so that the business owner can visualize basically what is an intangible promotion in their minds. Give them something to hold, even if it's just hold in their mind. Give them an example of what they are getting for doing business with you. When you are working with or trying to sell a client, you want to tell a story. And you want to either provide a case study or a use case on how a particular business may use this service. So in the case of a restaurant, let's say, hey, restaurants can have a flyer at the front of the store. And actually, I did a use case earlier in this video here. You have a flyer in front of the store at the checkout area. You say, hey, check in, an opportunity to enter this contest, reach your hand inside of the fishbowl and pull out one of 100 prizes. You can make a little case study or use case for that business, and the business owner will look at that. Wow, that's really creative. Let's give that a shot. In fact, that idea I just gave you about the fishbowl contest, you need to try it. I'm telling you, you're going to blow people away. And when you do, please come back to me and tell me that you have. You want to demonstrate to the business owner how the user is using social media, Facebook Places, Facebook Local, the searches, and the recommendations and ratings. You want to show the business owner either in person or through a case study or use case how that works. Okay, the position that you put the business owner, that's key. The optimum position for that business is, okay, you have a restaurant in downtown Chicago. There are 15 different restaurants within a quarter mile of you. All of them are on Facebook. You are not. You are in a poor position. You need to be in a better optimum position. You need to have your Facebook page defined and optimized. You need to have places configured. You need to allow check-ins. You need to update your content. You need to compel reviews, engagement, and call to action. Build that email list, all the things that we just covered inside of this. That is the position. So you want to sell from that. Say, hey, your position right now is poor. You need the optimum position in order to expand your reach and generate more revenue. So that's really what this is about, is building engagement, which is expanding that reach. To providing and using these Facebook local components is what gives you that engagement and is what expands that reach. So one of the best ways you can sell is with this loss, with, hey, competitors are stealing your leads. Mr. Business Owner, you are losing money. You are losing reputation. Motivation for selling is, well, let me put it this way. The sense of loss is more powerful than perhaps the opportunity to gain. So if you tell a business owner, hey, I can get you 100 new customers, you know, that may work with some people, but generally it is not as a compelling motivator than, hey, you are losing 100 customers. Hey, why do you want to lose 100 customers a week to your nearest competitor that's a quarter mile away? That is a much more compelling sales pitch. Now you have to understand that this is a numbers game. As all sales, all marketing is a numbers game. The more outreach you do, the more clients you will get. In order to expand your reach, your own personal sales reach, hire some help. Get an appointment setter. Hire a telemarketer. Hire somebody to do some prospecting for you. Have that person generate 100 leads. Have them go on to Facebook and find 100 sales pages that maybe, or 100 Facebook pages that need some help, right? The other strategy you can use is Chet Holmes' Dream 100 strategy. Pick 100 retail or commercial clients in your area that you would love to work with, and then learn everything you can about those 100 clients, and then beat the living hell out of them with messaging. Go after them, chase them, do whatever you have to do. Be as persistent as you can be. You may not get all 100, but you will get 10 to 20 of your most highly desired, high-paying clients by just repeating a Dream 100 strategy. Ensure that you track and follow up any leads that you have contact with. You use a CRM like Zoho CRM or Biz CRM. Use those to track who you contact and follow up with them. Typically, you follow up in a 7-day cycle, right? So if you contact them on a Monday, you don't hear anything back, hit them up next Monday and keep hitting them up every week until they tell you to go pound sand or something. Again, it's a sales game. And it's a numbers game. Again, it's a numbers game. That's what sales really is. And, it's people have a lot of stigma on sales. Oh, salesman this, salesman that. And, oh, I could never sell. I mean, if you're married, then you sold your wife on marrying you. If you're dating someone, you sold that person on dating you. If trying to get your kid to go to bed, the kid won't listen to you, well, then you're selling your kid. If you're using bribe, like my kid is cranky when she wakes up. I have to bribe her with chocolate to get her to stop whining. So we are all always selling. When we go out, we're trying to sell friends. Hey, I want to go to this place because we can do this, that, and the other thing. You're selling. You're giving some benefits. Just remember that. It's not as complicated as you think. I highly recommend you pick up a book by Chet Holmes. This is where the Dream 100 comes from. It's called The Ultimate Sales Machine. Check that book out. You're going to love that book. As a consultant, it's almost the Bible. Okay, lastly, if you need support, and in the nature of billing, tech, or account support, please send me a ticket at whitewavesupport.com. Usually get back to responses within 24 to 48 business hours. I have a community you can access. That is the profithackers.com/forum. And the Profit Hackers Forum community, the coaching community there. Other marketers are present. People can answer your questions and also give you some ideas. And if you're a subscriber, you can get access to all of my products in the premium coaching section. Lastly, if you need help, if you need any kind of coaching, please email me. Send me an email and we'll start a dialogue on what you need coaching with. Put the subject line as "need a coach," and I have a couple of programs that can really help. I hope you enjoyed this training. Go out there and make this happen for yourself. Apply the lessons that you've learned in this video series and inside of the written guide. And if you haven't read it already, please do so now. I hope to talk to you all real soon. Take care.